Hi, I'm Nick DiGregorio here with the one and only Chris Gersch, CEO of Verde Solutions. Super thankful to be here today and grateful for this opportunity for you guys to learn more about Chris.
I've found that there's nothing more satisfying than using your time and energy, because I think that's the most valuable thing
Right.
that you have to give, in giving back. I think
100%.
this is just how the universe works, and somewhat it is selfish because I do feel so good when I do it,
Right.
but I also am very well aware that when you do give back, the universe rewards you by giving it. It's a
Agreed.
if you think of the universe as almost like a magnet, right? So
Yeah.
you always, if you have like a horseshoe magnet,
Mhm.
and you cut it in half, you now have two magnets, right?
For
You
sure.
cut it again, you have four magnets. There's always a pull, and so when you push, there's equal and opposite reaction. The universe works the same way.
For sure. And you said hit it on the spot, which is crazy that you feel selfish in doing so
Yeah.
because it's more blessed to give than it is to receive. But
Mm-hmm.
it is that selfish aspect. 'Cause then ultimately, at the end of the day, there's going
Yeah.
to be that reciprocity that
Yeah.
comes back.
Yeah.
And it's awesome how that comes back tenfold normally
One hundred
in certain
percent,
situations.
and
But
that's what I'm trying to work with my kids on. I think is them understanding that I think when you're young, you just want to accumulate, right? And you're taking
yeah,
stuff from your brother and sister, but when you do get back and you go out of your way, and just seeing the smiles, like, just turn on their face when they
for
do
sure.
do that, when they see making someone else happy.
Hmm.
I think business is a lot like that. I think if you are focused on the gratitude that you get to like offer this to them, and
Hmm.
like you get to help them solve an issue, that in the end they are, we're rewarded, and like by them being happy, but our brands can kind of, they will stand the test of time, because
For sure.
I truly believe it. And there's a lot of books that go into it, and we can do this on the podcast, but
Yeah.
it's the raving fans,
Hmm.
that ultimately, once you have it, a basis for, you know, I have, dozens of people. I'm like, call them. Here's my cell phone. You know, they call any of these clients.
Exactly.
You pick. I don't need to
Hmm.
pick a list. Pick these clients. They're all going to say the same thing.
For
I
sure.
think if you run your business that way, I think you're going to have a long, healthy, successful career.
100%. And I love how you're able to not only help people with solar, but
Mm-hmm.
help them through the process with the certain add-ons that you have and the
Yeah,
tools in the tool belt
yeah,
that you're able to assist
yeah.
really each and every business with.
Right,
Because it's not only solar, you're providing a solution that's going to help
right.
put money back in their business.
Yep.
And I think ultimately at the end of the day, when you're providing a good service, you're
Yeah,
a great reputable organization
yeah.
and company, and you're dealing with good people, that creates raving
Right,
fans. And then it
exactly.
has that
Yeah,
kind of compound effect where you said pretty much you have 1,300 partners
yep.
that you're able to build these relationships with. And over time, that
Yeah,
just drastically increases business from
yeah,
state to state.
yeah. No, it's funny is, we look at, every business or municipality partner, anyone that uses energy. We have a residential solar arm.
Yeah.
We've got the trading hedging company for electricity and natural gas called
Mm-hmm.
Navigate Power, and then Verde Solutions is, we look at the individual facility almost as like humans look at themselves, and like,
Mm-hmm.
if you are just going to sell them the energy rate,
Yeah.
right? That's just kind of like giving someone a prescription pill, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to keep you going, but you got to stay on that pill for forever. You've got to kind of go
Exactly.
back to it. But we're going to not only show how to buy energy in a meaningful, cost-effective way, but we're also going to be able to address a really simple prescription on how you use energy. So let's
Yeah.
figure out how you're using it. So lowering your demand through lighting, HVAC upgrades, doing combined heat and power systems, all sorts of building controls. That's one way. So we're going to lower that demand, and
Yeah.
then based on what is left over, we can then go and produce, energy on site that's renewable.
Incredible.
It's free fuel, and the incentives are there that make it a really compelling argument for any owner, CFO. If you're getting an IRR of, 15 to 25% per year, it's actually costing you money by not doing this. And you're paying into these programs anyways, so why not take advantage of them?
I love it. I know you're part of the small business association, so a lot of our conversations are kind of directed towards larger organizations, so on and so forth. How does this add value to the small business as well, how they could receive some of the rewards and benefits from a few of these programs that you mentioned?
Yeah, so if they're paying a commercial bill, they're paying into these same programs. So there's specific small business association related incentives. And the truth is, any building owner can take advantage of it. If you have roof space, there's free fuel from the sun that you can take advantage of. So as I said, our teams are in-house. They're used to doing small residential, groups and non-for-profits, Catholic charities, all this sort of stuff. But to the large scale, industrial, I would say 6.5 megawatts. So you're looking at, over 7,500 panels. So it really ranges on the expertise. But each client, whether they're big or small, are going to take advantage of it, and it's kind of slated towards smaller businesses. The smaller your business, the higher the incentive is for that solar renewable energy credit. It's at a higher value, so it really helps small businesses get ahead by getting incentives that are going to, like I said, pay for the entire project.
For sure, that's fantastic, because helping small businesses and, like you mentioned, charities, churches, are something that's near and dear to your heart. So what are a few of those causes and foundations that you guys have been able to support over the past 15 years? No,
it's been really cool. We've done these larger donations to institutions like Children's Liberties Hospital.
Love that.
Fortunately, my daughter recovered well, but she had some febrile seizures, and she was in. For a week she was on the neuro unit, and there was two code blues there, and me and my wife were basically holding each other, because these people, code blues means that you're flatlining as a child. So that was interesting to be in that environment, and so we wanted to give back as a business to children's. I've always been, do the St. Jude's half marathon for St. Jude. So it started off early and small on a small basis, but now I'm currently on two boards. One is Digs for Dignity, which is a charity really focused on getting people off the streets and furnishing their homes.
That's amazing.
And we go in there, and whether it's, usually it's businesses, we'll make a donation, and we'll pay for all the furnishings. We get things from our warehouse. Digs and Dignity has a warehouse that we will pull all the furnishings. We'll stock the refrigerators so that they come into this apartment off the street, full of all the things that are really special to them. We find out what the kids really like, what they enjoy,
surprise them with those gifts.
And fill them with those gifts, and make it a true home. It's super comfortable. I suggest anyone that's interested in getting involved in volunteering, whether at the warehouse or for a Digs Day, check out Digs with Dignity. Great partnerships with the Blackhawks, the White Sox. It's ever growing. And then former Chicago Bear Peanut Tillman has
saw that. Peanut Tillman, baby.
Cornerstone Foundation obviously is a corner, and Cornerstone Foundation is really focused on bringing support for those families that are waiting for their child, like Peanut did, and Jessica, his wife, they did for their daughter, and the Tiana Fund is basically to help support those families that can't pay their bills, their mortgages, because they're sitting there waiting for their kid for a transplant. You can't leave a 2-year-old in a hospital, and so that puts a lot of strain on the family. So we help do that, and then we fill the hospitals like Children's Liberties. We have a locker. It's kind of off his football days with new iPads, toys, board games, stuff that keep them occupied while they're going through what's amounting to be the hardest time of their lives.
That's absolutely incredible that you're able to really do that and give, so you can receive, like we talked about earlier in the conversation, but also with the situation that happened with your daughter. I'm honestly asking,
Yeah.
is she okay?
No, she's fine. No, she's
Yeah.
fine. She's healthy. She's you
That's
know,
amazing.
she's
What
got
a
a couple
miracle that
games.
is.
Yeah, she's in travel soccer back
Okay.
in where we are, and she's a great athlete. She was you know, awesome, straight A student. Plays piano. She was Jane Banks in St. Teresa's rendition of Mary Poppins.
That's
and,
amazing.
Yeah,
So that
really
minor
good
setback
voice.
for a major comeback.
Yeah. No, she's a go-getter. I'm really proud of her.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Yep.
And with the 5K, I mean, you're a nice fit guy. I mean, you got to have fitness to fuel really all the different businesses that you're part of, 11 of them.
Yeah.
What would you say is a routine that's helped you maintain this massive success throughout your career?
Yeah, no, it's I think always being fit and like just getting outside. I think it has been a big part of it. Recently, you know, as all entrepreneurs do, we tend to like try different things and experiment. Things that I've found really helpful for me is I invested in a cold plunge for my home.
Love that.
So I'll go in for 4 minutes.
Not at the cold plunge yet. I'm just at 5-minute cold showers.
Yeah. Cold showers gets it.
Right.
Cold plunge. You do go through that jump out.
Do you do it right when you wake up?
I do it before I go work out.
Okay.
There's this great group called F3. It's a men's group that you work out with a group of guys, 5:15 to 6 a.m. It stands for Foundation, Fitness, and Faith. And you just come together, and it's a really cool organization. You know, I'll do the ice bath sauna combo. I really like the sauna.
Same here.
Just health. Intermittent fasting, starting to do that a little bit more.
Nice.
In terms of, but I think just staying strong. You know, I think it's like the stoic. You know, going back to sound mind has to be in a sound body type of thing.
Yeah.
But not too long ago, I had a nice healthy dad bod. I call it. You know, 4 kids. You tend to order Chick-fil-A and anything that's left over.
At least
free
it's not
game.
McDonald's.
No. I don't allow them to go to McDonald's.
Good.
But, you know, if they go to the grandparents sometimes. But
yeah,
I warrant their McDonald's to maybe 1 Shamrock Shake each a year. So that's about it.
Good, man. It's crazy. That's a whole nother conversation.
It's a whole nother game. I've got a couple of my best friends own McDonald's, and it's a really healthy business. I'll tell you that in terms of business model. But
it's incredible. I was just at Navy Pier, and you look at all the different beautiful shops and places that you could go out and these beautiful patios, and then you walk past McDonald's. It's the most packed place. And then you're looking, it's just
even at O'Hare, you know, like you'll pass up like Frontier Grill, and I know it's a little bit more expensive, but still the quality is just different. But
different type of mindset.
Yeah, different type of mindset. I think if you live life and you know that time is all you have, you try to extend that as much as possible. Especially, I mean, if you're in business, there's a lot of stress, so you have to figure out ways to do it. And I know a lot of, I was as a trader, you saw people take that stress and try to, whether through substance or partying and stuff like that. I learned early on, and what you'd see is their performance degrade. So there's nothing like trading to show you that. So, but those that were most successful and the guys that own the business were the ones going to the gym in the morning before trading and stuff like that. So I think you just, as you're young, you try to observe as much as you want, the habits that you have. And then in the end, it's all these outside influences. You really have your character is what you have. And my old man, he's like, you only have your name. You know? So whether you're in business or,
reputation.
It's so easy to it takes just an instant to ruin that reputation. And so while it might be fun, and I'm not saying I was by any means some sort of saint during that time of my life. I was 20s and enjoying myself, but it's one thing to kind of visit that lifestyle, and then say like, it's not for me, and change course. And another thing to just have that take over your life, and ultimately you lose your job, you lose your family, and everything. So
it's scary. And I mean, being a super successful trader as you were, and then transitioning into solar and coming to this realization, you're on a beach, you're on vacation, you're just really had a really great career as a
Yeah.
trader, and you're thinking about what you wanted to do next.
Yeah.
Why solar? How did you really come to Verde?
Yeah, it's funny is I tell this story. The flash crash. I'll kind of shorten it, but flash crash May 6, 2010 really shook me, and I was able to move on from that with my name intact and recover. But I wanted to, go out and figure out what I wanted to do, because I knew that wasn't a lifestyle that I can maintain. The stress related towards trading on a daily basis for outside investors. So I went to Brazil, stayed at a surfing hostel, and there's this really cool cliff that came out similar to like the Sugarloaf, anyone that's been in Rio. And I was sitting there, and it creates a perfect wave for like newbies from Chicago learning how to surf on a longboard. And my legs were hanging in the water, and they're about 12 inches down. It's kind of the sun was just overhead, and I felt the sun on my feet. Like I felt warmth. It wasn't from the water. You could tell it was from the sun. And I'm like, man, that's super powerful. And it just kind of clicked in.
It's incredible.
So I don't know. I made a deal with universe or higher power to get me out of that bad situation. He did, and
for sure.
And wanted to literally do something that would make. I was part of the problem, I think, as an oil and gas trader. I was helping propagate and make people that were oil carbon related companies a lot of money. And so I wanted to be a part of the solution. And I think those companies they're in the energy business. They're figuring it out, and they're some of the largest innovators in the space. So I think they've come a long ways in doing it, but I wanted to be a part of that solution. And it's cool. Every day I get to wake up and I get to do something that I believe is leaving the better the world
for sure.
Yeah.
And it's incredible, man. 11 different businesses. There's so many different verticals that you've now integrated with your different organizations and companies. What would be your advice to somebody that looks up to you and that's up and coming in the entrepreneurship world? What would be really your advice to them?
Yeah, I think you build a business based on the value that you're creating. It's like you really want to know that the solution that you're providing is in high demand. So it's one thing to create 10, 15 years ago, it was all about creating apps. And then, everyone's jumping into the crypto space and, creating different algos around, trading. And then find something that you know that you need in your life, and like build your passion around that. Like we've got friends, I'm fortunate to have gone to school with some, they're like unicorns now, billionaires. So, for example, I don't know if you ever had an RX bar before.
Yeah.
All right. So,
your friend created that?
Yeah, my friend created that, and he.
Those are pretty delicious, actually.
We were at River North CrossFit.
Yeah.
He was bringing in. He just didn't like the bars that were out there.
Yeah.
They're chalky.
For sure.
And he wanted to create a better, simpler, more just nutritious bar. And he'd come in and we'd taste test, and he would package it. And,
I love that.
River North CrossFit was the first place that he sold the bars, and
really?
It kind of took off. Yeah.
Wow.
And then ended up selling to Kellogg for $600 million. Him and another partner. So, yeah, it's and then I've got friends that are, I got another friend who started Avant Credit. And that was based off of his experience at Deutsche Bank, and it's his third business that is valued, I think north of 10 billion. So it's incredible. And then Chomps. I don't know if you've ever had
Chopsticks.
Yeah. So Pete and those guys, we actually built, one of my companies built their first website, and They're friends from University of Illinois.
Really?
That they were having kids. They wanted something healthier to give them. All the nitrates and everything in there.
For sure.
They want a better product, and they just again did it on their own. You don't necessarily need to take outside capital. Chomps really didn't. RX Bar didn't, and so in the end, they have a lot of equity in-house. And so, it's easy to want to cash out. I think that's an older generation. I feel like the older generation typically, at 42, I still consider myself, on the younger side.
42, man, you don't look a day past 30. That's all those cold baths.
But in terms of, if you're going to start a business, to your question, is, prove it out. Don't necessarily go raise capital right away unless it's capital intensive. Go and get customers and get some raving fans first. And then, try to use traditional methods, convertible debt, for family and friends. Try to get bank financing where you can, SBA, all those sort of loan products. Don't give up too much equity in the beginning, because they're going to take most of it, and then all of a sudden you're working for someone else. And that's one way to lose your passion. One thing that we've done at Ultimus Capital, which is a holding company, every business has fed another business at the time. Whoever's running hot then can kind of feed and invest in the other companies. And it creates a hedge against, when you have a bunch of high-performing companies, allows you to kind of dictate on where and when you're going to take money, if at all. And if you're working for yourself, and you can make those customer-focused decisions. Whereas if you're owned by private equity and things, they need that return.
They're going to control.
Yeah, they have that return, and then you're not, you might be the CEO, but you're not necessarily,
in charge of making decisions.
Yeah, running the ship. So those are my suggestions, where I've seen people, and they eventually burn out because they're at conflict with what they started off to do in their original mission, and then what they're being prescribed to do in order to get returns for their investors.
For sure. And then also, I know faith's been a cornerstone about your mission, and really what's fueled that field, guided you in creating these 11 companies. And in a world where there's a lot of trials and tribulations that people go through on a day in and day out basis, and there's a lot of negativity, how has faith been able to fuel your passion in business?
Yeah, no, I think faith and just, I'm a Christian. I was born and raised Catholic, and then
likewise.
And so I think no matter your faith is understanding that we're part of something bigger, and that we're all interconnected. And that ultimately God is the most. Not fear is the wrong word. Let me say is, that there are guidelines, and that inner voice is that conscious comes from somewhere. And that doing the right thing, I think, is in each of us, whether it be in business or in our personal lives.
For sure.
And knowing that, I was talking to my business partner about that this morning. It's funny enough, is that faith is, understanding that you're going to go through dark times, and sometimes you got to pinch yourself.
For sure.
Even the most successful people have battle, for lack of a better term, depression, anxiety, all those sort of things at different times in their life. I think most people do, but to understand, being grateful for God, and being grateful that you're able every day to wake up, kiss your kids, go to work,
love that.
All that sort of stuff, is that it's all perspective on your life. And if you look at the blessings that you have, it's really easy to get yourself out of that funk. Your health and all those sort of things. I had
play into it.
Friends, fraternity brothers. I had brain aneurysm at 26. I had two guys I traded with at with Keith,
Yeah.
that died in their 20s or 30s, just
Wow.
of cancer. So there's every day is a blessing. I think
For sure.
In building something, it gives you an excitement to. If you're building something, you feel like you're growing every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, man. I think just the power of God and church and going there and like feeling that spiritual. There's clearly energy there
100%.
that is palpable. Like you can feel it, and just knowing that that's there,
Mm-hmm.
and that Jesus is calling you, talking to you in those moments,
Mm-hmm.
and like you feel things melt away or things come out.
Right.
Just those moments, I think, are further evidence that we're all connected. In God. And they can say that about other religions too. I've had discussions with friends that Buddhism, Islamic, Jewish employees I've talked to about it. And, it's that connection to a higher power that makes you understand that what you're going through, and understanding the faith in the Bible or the Old Testament, like all those tribulations that they went through. And, it's going to be okay.
I love that. And it's beautiful that you're able to share that and be open with it, because a lot of people, I feel like when it comes to health, when it comes to faith, and when it comes to really your emotional, physical, spiritual well-being, they become extremely closed off. And it's amazing as a CEO and really as growing these organizations that you're not only able to share that, but then also apply those techniques in an office environment and help everybody else around you grow and achieve more. Because like you've mentioned in previous conversations, it's not necessarily about you, but it's about everybody else that's around you, and utilizing each person to their skill set and to their advantage. So really, I mean, I know this is like my fourth or fifth time saying it, the 11 different businesses. Where do you see the future of Verde, and what do you guys got on the horizon?
Yeah, so Verde Solutions, I think the biggest thing is, my goal is, we use the entrepreneur operation,
EOS,
system, EOS.
traction, baby.
So I think just in creating that 10-year goal, I think it was set out to sell this business to Elon Musk for $26 billion. And
let's go.
And
that's
so
happening.
so I think you got to think big. I think getting into some unique technologies that allows us, that's where Elon, he was able to build unique products.
For sure.
So right now we're a servicer. I want to be really good at that, and that customer focus. I really enjoy that kind of solving. Each facility is a little bit of a puzzle piece. But we're going to get into more ownership of assets. Become a provider and be able to deploy our solutions. EV is going to be huge. I know that there's a slowdown in adoption, but that is the momentum, and I still think that the infrastructure isn't there to properly support everything. And so creating revenue off of owning assets in that space, I think is going to be key. There's a lot of things, expanding. We're going to be doing our first job outside the U.S., which is exciting.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
So just kind of expanding.
That's super cool. I guess lastly, with the AI boom, and I think it's Vivian or however the heck you say their name. They, with the GPUs, they just went up 27 billion Q2, saw a 256% increase in their assets. And now we're at kind of that industrial revolution, as their CEO said, this is the new age of technology and really transitioning into a new time period. And we got Google, Microsoft, Amazon in the arms race for AI. Do you see you guys getting into AI at all, or playing into that?
Yeah, so what's funny is in trading, we called it machine learning.
Learning,
I lost my programmers to Yahoo and Google at the time. It's been there. Machine learning's been there. And teaching at the University of Chicago, there's a lot of talks about it. That, I've been teaching there for 10 years, and it's AI is creating a lot of efficiencies. where I see a company like Verde being involved is the potential to incorporate AI into understanding at a granular level the energy that's being produced from each of these solar arrays that we're putting on and the batteries, and then how to properly deploy that excess energy. So using AI to create almost like a revenue model on how to support our assets out in the field, and you know, kind of getting ahead of problems before they happen. Just based on, you know, taking into account all the weather patterns that are coming in, the amount of you know, taking weather into account, taking into any issues that, you know, around local construction, all this sort of stuff, like all kind of constantly learning to make sure that your asset performs the most to get, you know, get those margins to roll over into other assets. Optimization in the permitting process, rebates, all that sort of stuff. All this stuff that has to be touched by, you know, an engineer or a consultant, automating that stuff because it's so repetitive from each, but training that AI so that it knows how to adjust
and adapt
for the non-congruent, you know, things that we run into in construction. So I think it's there. It's just a matter of incorporating it in a way that makes sense for, you know, the investment you have to make into it. I think for my business, Navigate Power, in terms of creating templates and information for our customers that are on contract, I think that's a clear way that we can get AI more involved.
Love it. Well, super grateful for your time today and being able to build this relationship with you, and looking forward to many multiple other conversations. Where can everybody go to find you, to reach out if they need any of your solutions?
I think the biggest, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I think that's always one way that you can connect with me. It's an easy way. You can go to verdesolutions.com, ultimuscapital.com to kind of learn about the portfolio of businesses. But in terms of you know, finding more information out about, you know, some of the solar battery solutions, going to verdesolutions.com. And then for me personally, you know, I'm doing a lot of trade shows, panels, and things like that on renewable energy, trading, things like that. They can reach out at LinkedIn.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We'll really appreciate your time.
Hey, congratulations on your efforts. And, you know, I really think your industry is ripe for a revolution of sorts. To not be too dramatic, but for someone with your ambition, clearly you read up on all this stuff and you try to emulate, you know, successful people. I think working on the business and trying to get it to evolve, to differentiate itself, you know, amongst, you know, the hundreds that are out there. How do you, and you're doing it right now, how do you brand yourself as a go-to? And just remember, you know, you're young, so that your name is everything, right? So there will be times that a project will go wrong. How you react in those moments is what will define you and your business. And so I think if I can teach anything to entrepreneurs, is it's going to get, it's not a hockey stick. You're going to go through tough times. Is how you react, what's your character in those toughest moments will, you know, if you're here 10 years from now, you know, likely you'll go through a lot of experiences. It's not the wins that, you know, I'd love to learn about. It's those things where things went completely sideways. You're dealing with everything all at once. How did you handle yourself? So just kind of being prepared and building a foundation that allows you to streamline stuff so that you can keep that personal touch on your business.
Love that.
I think it's going to be everything.
Man, I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.